In the mid-2000s, open-world crime games were everywhere. Studios across the industry were chasing the success of GTA. And while many projects were in the works, one stood out tremendously for its history and the icon attached to the project. This, of course, was the legendary Clint Eastwood and his film series, Dirty Harry, in a genre where almost every protagonist was some sort of criminal. Being a full-time officer or policeman in San Francisco during the 1970s definitely had a different vibe to it. Now, before we officially start, you may ask yourself, what is Dirty Harry? And I know it's a wild question, depending on your age, but don't feel bad, man. I was born in 1999 and I love the films. So, Dirty Harry was a long-running film franchise that spanned 5 films from 1971 to 1988, and it followed Harry Callahan as an officer who would push the boundaries of the law quite a bit. He would muddy the waters, so to speak. The performance was a memorable one from Clint Eastwood, and it is remembered as one of his greatest characters alongside The Man with No Name. Now, the game would officially be announced in February of 2005, and Clint Eastwood was actually attached to the project to provide his voice and likeness for the iconic character, as well as consult on the central plot of the game. Clint Eastwood said that he was excited to bring Dirty Harry to a new generation and a new audience in a new medium that they could appreciate: video games. Eventually, The Collective, a studio known for licensed action titles, would be announced as the lead developers on the project. Rumors would suggest that the game was set in San Francisco and built as a full open world experience where the world would be alive and breathing as well, taking place between Dirty Harry 1 and Dirty Harry 2 Magnum Force. Other stars that were rumored to star alongside the game with Clint Eastwood were Gene Hackman and Lawrence Fish, which would only bring prestige to the project. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine those legends in a video game that we could play and enjoy? That would be really fucking cool. Now, in terms of gameplay, Dirty Harry aimed to separate itself, so to speak, from other open world titles by focusing on the police work in San Francisco. Missions were structured around responding to incidents, interrogating suspects, and pursuing criminals across the whole city. A key system involved players' decision making. The way the player handled situations would affect outcomes. Excessive force, intimidation, or restraint could all lead to different consequences. The system was designed to reflect Harry Callahan's reputation and his approach to justice. Combat would also play a major role in the game. Firearms would obviously be central, with an emphasis on realism. The game also included vehicle chases. The structure followed a mix of story-driven missions and dynamic events happening throughout the city. This approach was intended to create a sense of constant activity in a San Francisco that was maybe riddled with crime. Now, despite a strong concept, the project ran into serious issues during development. The Collective was dealing with financial instability while working on other multiple projects. These problems were rumored to have been a constant thorn on the side of the developer long before they were attached to work on the project of Dirty Harry. Now, these problems would eventually lead the Collective to lose the rights to the game in 2007, after Warner Bros. Put them off as lead developers. This led to the Collective having to lay off more than 30 employees. Warner Bros. Came out with a statement in 2007 saying that they were still moving forward with the game, and they would eventually find a new developer. The biggest issue was that back in E3 of 2005, Warner Bros. Announced that Dirty Harry game was set to release in 2007 on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. So clearly they were way behind schedule, and this could only mean bad news for the project. And of course, Clint Eastwood, who was still very active in Hollywood, wouldn't wait around for them to get their problems in order. Sadly, after their comments on the Dirty Harry game in March of 2007, any mention of the game would completely disappear. The game would never officially be canceled, but never hearing from it again is basically the same thing. Now, very little of the game was ever shown publicly. No full gameplay, no demo release, and no final build. Most of what exists comes from early reports and limited development details. There are no widely available playable versions or major leaks that fully show the game and what it could have been. All we have is a CGI trailer and a few details on what the game was trying to do. Personally, I think that it had massive potential. I think this game was a very big miss. It offered a different structure, a different tone, a different feel. It gave us, the player, a different role, playing as a cop that was active in the force. And I think most importantly, it brought Clint Eastwood to the gaming world and revived one of film's most iconic cops. It was something that I really wanted to play. And after doing my video on Fear and Respect and Snoop Dogg, I remembered this one. And I couldn't believe that I had completely forgot about it. Dirty Harry is just one of my favorite film franchises. I absolutely love Clint Eastwood. I love the work that he did on those particular films, and I remember just binging them one every single night for 5 nights straight. It felt like I was watching a long series, and I really enjoyed it. So I think this was a big miss. I could imagine just playing around the world and running around as Clint Eastwood, saying funny things and shooting bad people. And maybe this could have led to a series. This could have been a trilogy of games that we could remember fondly and we could revisit. The what ifs always hurt me the most. It really fucking does, because I would love to go back today and play those, games I never released of Dirty Harry 1, 2, and 3 and explore their story and explore their tone and hope and wait and wish for a remaster, right? And none of that could ever happen because we never actually got the game. All we have, once again, was just the CGI trailer. This was one that I was very, very excited to cover, and also very sad that we never got to see the light of day. Again, no mention has ever been made about the Dirty Harry game. Again, the last time anyone even spoke about it in terms of the people behind it was in 2007. So it's been almost 2 decades since anyone's ever really talked about the game. So yeah, have you ever seen the Dirty Harry films, and are you disappointed that we never got this game?
The people of San Francisco will not stand for this. We deserve answers. We demand justice. In a time when so many of our young boys are being sent overseas to die in the jungles of Vietnam, we should not be forced to live in fear in our own city streets. The San Francisco Police Department has failed to apprehend the Gemini killer, and in turn they have failed to protect the citizens of this city. The time has come for the people of San Francisco to take matters into their own hands. If the police will not protect us, we will protect ourselves.
Hey, I was watching that.
Hey, good to see you, Inspector.
Is that tan Ford still parked across the front of the bank?
Tan Ford? Yeah, it's there.
Hey, buddy, I'm talking to you.
Now, who might you be?
The guy that was watching the TV that you just turned off. How about a little common courtesy?
Yeah.
Hey, turn around when I'm talking to you. Turn around, damn it! Ah! You broke my nose! Somebody call the police!
And the police. I know what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Now, to tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement. You've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?